Hey everybody, ODC, and I just wanted to let you guys know I had to split these turtle reviews up. They were just entirely too long to put together, so if you're wondering why I kind of shot things a certain way, that's why, but this will only be a review about Leonardo.
What's going on, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 movie action figures. We've got Donatello here, and we've got Leonardo. I just received these two in the mail. For some reason, my shipment was split up. I kind of explained that in the unboxing video on my Facebook page. If you want to go check that out, you can. You'll have to excuse my voice. Like I said, I'm a little bit under the weather, but let's take a look at the packaging here. It looks pretty good. Really like the window box display. The fact that we have these correct collector-friendly packaging here is pretty appealing to me. I'm glad we didn't get the clamshells like we got with some of the Predator figures that we can't redisplay these if we want to repackage these. If you know, it's also nice that we have these nice little 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle poster artwork on the bottom here. It looks pretty cool. It also says Nickelodeon on the bottom. It says GameStop only because these are GameStop exclusive. Flipping around to the side on Leonardo and Donatello, you get a nice little, if you want to kind of pose these together, you got a little back-to-back artwork, and you can see that Leonardo's artwork matches up with Donatello's. As you can see, the hand for Leonardo right there. Looks really good as far as the packaging goes. So if you get all four of these, and you want to maybe do a little display thing on your shelves, you can put all four of these together and then maybe have your turtles in front of them. It's just a nice little display feature for you if you want to go that route. On the back, you've got more pictures of the turtles, obviously from their promo movie artwork. Looks really good with all four turtles posing right here. Pretty cool. Over here, you've got Leo in that famous Leo face. You could definitely tell the different sculpts in the faces as far as the movies, how they differentiated from each other, where Donnie kind of had more of a beak. I mean, they all had kind of a beak, if you know what I'm saying, but they all had different styles of like a little beak to them, where Leo's was kind of rounded. His was a little bit more angular as far as Donnie's. But anyway, I digress. So we got another fighting stance for Leo over here. And then we've got almost like a hand-to-hand combat stance for Leo, which is pretty cool. And then you've got a nice little read-up. So if you guys wanted to pause that and read it, you could. Okay, and we're back first with Leonardo. Looking at the figure here, he looks fantastic. And all the accessories that he comes with just makes perfect sense. The face sculpt alone. I have seen some people notice that their eyes are a little funky. Sometimes during the movies, they would have odd eye alignment. I think that just had to do with the mechanics of the helmet, because those are actually mechanical. So the eyes would sometimes look a little cross-eyed. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Sometimes, Leo would actually look a little bit cross-eyed, so it's not the worst thing in the world, to be honest with you. Like when Playmates screwed up the cartoon ones with the eyes all wonky all over the place, that was just completely uncalled for. But this actually, it doesn't actually bother me too much that he's a little bit cross-eyed here. It's not awful. You can see that the line work is a little bit off, which NECA usually isn't too bad with their eyes. I know the Contra 2-pack was really awful, but I feel like it's few and far between. I have a ton of NECA figures, and I've never really had too many issues with their eyeballs going all over the place. So, but just taking a look at the rest of the sculpt and detail here, is we're going to hit that first. I'm going to get to a couple issues that I have because the figure's not 100% perfect, obviously. All of the little dots and everything, the little protrusions going throughout the crevices, all the paint detail that you would expect from NECA as a toy company is there. It really makes you happy to be a toy collector and be able to get these, because they just really knocked this one out of the park as far as what you were expecting from a movie action figure with the sculpt and detail. The little dots and everything looks good. The little black paint shading going throughout the top of his head, throughout the rest of his body. Wherever you see green, there's a little bit of black paint shading going throughout. Even on his feet, on his legs. The knee pads look battle worn. Looks really good. Very pleased with that. You can almost see like a little bit of red right there. Almost looks like a little bit of blood. But obviously it's not meant to be that. Same thing on the elbow pads. You can see there's like a little bit of like blood right there. And then over here too. And then the stitching on his both his sheaths look really good. Even the brown, you got two different types of brown here. You got like a darker brown and then a lighter brown, and then you have an even lighter brown than this brown. It's kind of like a dark leather, a light leather, and then almost like a tannish brown for the wrappings around those. Everything looks really good. Very crisp and clean as far as that goes. You do see a little bit of a breakage in the sculpt right there. That's just due to the peg for the sheaths for his katanas in his back. It's not a big deal to me. Some people, it really breaks the, I guess, immersion for them. It doesn't really for me. I think it looks really good. The belt is a separate sculpted piece, and it's kind of like a rubbery, pliable plastic, so you can pull it down if you need to. That's really cool. Really like all the, like I said, the brown, wherever the brown is kind of giving off that leathery look, looks really good. Overall, this is one of my favorite designs for the Turtles. I really do love this look, and it is very nostalgic, but at the same time, as far as I guess, close you want to get to a realistic sense, I think it makes the most sense for them. I know the cartoons, they had blue belts and whatnot, and they had their name logos right here, but I think this looks really good as far as a more realistic toned Ninja Turtles movie, you know. And then even underneath, you can actually see some, it looks like some turtle shell attachment, almost like a spinal cord attachment or some sort. Looks pretty cool right there. It's got that kind of like a shiny, glossy paint to it. Looks pretty good. So I'm very pleased with sculpt and detail. You can see a little bit of silver paint right here for the loops. It's a little bit sloppy, I'm not going to lie. Same thing on this side. You can see it's not the best, but even over here on these elbow pads right there, and then that elbow pad right there, it's a little sloppy. It's not the best. I'm hoping that maybe down the line we'll get an Ultimates version of maybe a 4-pack of these Turtles, and that would be fantastic. Okay, on the back, I really like all the sculpt of the musculature going throughout the body. And, sorry, my dog's walking around. Looks really good right there. The crotch covering piece right there looks pretty cool. It's nice that you have all the NECA little logos on the bottom of the foot and not anywhere really else. You don't have it on the inside of the leg or somewhere silly like where it shouldn't belong. As far as Leonardo's articulation does go, his head can swivel at a full 360 rotation if you needed to. There you go, just to show it off, because I know someone will be like, you didn't show it. The head can look down, the head can look up about that far, and that's about neutral position for him. Actually, no, that's about neutral. There's neutral right there, and so that's about up. His head can pivot side to side. Let's see if we got jive turkeys. And we got a little jive turkey. A little baby turkey. That's about it. And then the arms can go up about that far. Now, we all know our NECA figures, and those of you that don't, we all know that if a joint on a NECA figure, especially a brand new one, and I heated these suckers up after I took them out of the package, if a joint does not allow you to go further, don't push it. It will break. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. All right, just don't ham fist your figures. Don't force it, because it will snap, and then you'll be mad, and you know that's how it goes. Okay, so just try to be patient, use some heat, and just take it easy with your figures. But the arms go up about that far on each side. They go down, full 360 rotation at the elbow. I kind of wish they had a bicep swivel right here. I'm not going to lie. I feel like a bicep swivel was kind of needed here, especially for a ninja. I would prefer a bicep swivel over a elbow swivel. It's just my personal preference. I'm just pointing it out here. But anyway, there you go with the elbow swivel, and there's the full, I want to say that's almost the full bend. If it's not the full bend, that's all it's allowing me to go. There's a little bit of hindrance right here due to the elbow pad, just to point that out. It mirrors the same on the other side. It does show that there's a double jointed elbow there, but like I said, the elbow pad does get in the way of the articulation, which is unfortunate. There is a wrist hinge, a wrist swivel right there. And then he does have a diaphragm joint, which is pretty well hidden. He can only crunch back and forth about that far. He can pivot side to side a little bit. All right, now this is where it's really rough, okay? It's the legs, and it's always the legs with NECA figures. It's like their ongoing thing. This is about as far as I can get my turtle. You know, and I can't get his leg to go out, and I'm not going to risk breaking this thing because these were hard enough to already get. I mean, and I'm not trying to trying to sound overly cautious here. I can't even give him this thigh swivel. Maybe Donnie will be different. And maybe I have to heat him up some more and let him sit. But I can't get him to really get his legs to go out any more than this. I know they can, and the hinge joints are there. Don't get me wrong. They can probably go out to about, I would assume, maybe around here. All right? But I cannot get his legs to go out. They're completely frozen, and I'm going to tell you right now, if, like I said, especially with NECA's legs, just be careful, all right? Just, that's all I'm going to say. He does have an upper thigh swivel, though. He does have a double-jointed knee, and is a little bit hindered. You probably get better range of motion if that knee pad wasn't in the way, but it's there, and it's part of the design. So a decent double-jointed knee, though. Really do appreciate that. Like I said, the legs go forward about that far. They don't really go back to the sculpting of the shell. They go back a little bit. He can point the toe. He can point the heel. And he does have ankle pivot. And 2 peg holes at the bottom of his feet. Okay, the next and last little gripe that I have up until this point with Leo, getting these swords in, and number one, a lot of, and I'm used to it because I own a lot of NECA figures, a lot of the NECA weapons I also suggest you be very careful with. They're brittle, especially Leo's swords. They're going to be brittle. Be careful with them. Don't force them too hard. They will snap. This is not a thick, durable plastic like a Playmates figure or a Marvel Legends sword. This is the opposite of that. This is going to be a brittle plastic. It's meant to be handled with care. So when you're putting these in these sheaths, I kind of have an issue with my sheaths. Maybe it's just mine, but I have to point this out. Getting these in the sheaths, it is, maybe it was just the first time. Now it's going a little bit easier. It was very, very tight of a fit. So it's going a little bit easier now. I probably just had to maybe move the mold a little bit, but I can also see that it's kind of ripping off some paint, and I'm not sure if these are, I'm pretty sure that this is plastic here. Let me double check here. Yeah, I don't know. Some paint's coming off onto the sword, but it's just little things I have to point out. Like that's a kind of I guess a nitpick, but it's something I just needed to point out from a collector standpoint. So there's that little bit of information as far as that goes. Like I said, the other issue is that these swords are quite chintzy. So I mean, if you not a big fan of these, you could maybe toss them to the side and use one of the other many Leonardo swords that you have at your disposal. But if you want to stay movie accurate, I guess, or if you have the Playmates movie figures, you can go with those swords. They're a little bit more durable because they're made by Playmates, a more durable plastic. But these give off a nice little shine to them. I really like the sculpt. And now we're actually going to segue to accessories. So we'll just take a look at his swords right here, which I think look really good, the katanas. I really like the length of the blade. I've always liked this design and how burly that handguard is. I love it. It looks fantastic. And then moving in on these handles, the handles look fantastic. Very simple as far as, I want to say the design goes, but I think it's very unique. I think when you see these katanas, you would think of Leonardo, These specific ones, at least that big handguard, looks really awesome. There's a little bit of silver paint for the butt of the handle right there, and that's about pretty much it. But the swords look pretty good. Like I said, they bounce light off of the blades pretty well, so that looks really cool. And yeah, definitely, I would say, while it does have its flaws with being very brittle plastic, still I do like the design, and I think NECA did a good job with executing the swords here. Okay, next up we have his right hand. It's just a kind of a closed gripping hand. Looks pretty cool, nice sculpt as far as that goes. And these are meant for gripping the swords or the pizza or just, gripping whatever. But it works pretty well, nicely done. I'm actually really glad that they decided to give us extra hands and stuff like that. It's a very nice necessity, I think, that these figures so needed. It's actually a little bit of green paint for those fingernails right there. Those 3 little fingernails look pretty cool. But really good on both hands. And here we go with the left hand. It's pretty much just the mirror opposite of the right hand. And there you go with that. Okay, next up we have his kind of like windswept bandana, back of his bandana. So it's pretty cool that you can plug these in and kind of articulate them to your wishes. Looks really good. There's some nice black paint shading going throughout, and almost like a lighter blue paint shading with it too. So that's really well done. Very pleased with how that looks, and I'll give you guys some poses as to how that looks in a second here. But yeah, overall pretty pleased with that. Okay, and last up, as far as his accessories go, it wouldn't be a Ninja Turtle action figure without some pizza. So, I mean, you got to have his piece of pizza. And it looks like we've got some olives in there. And let's see here. We've got some olives in there. And maybe some, I don't know, anchovies. I don't like anchovies at all, but maybe some, actually some brown in there. Maybe there's some, maybe it's like meat lovers meets olives and, oh, you know what? That's probably maybe mushroom. I don't know. But, teach your own, whatever. But we got some pizza here. Nice sculpt for the pizza. And then flipping it around to the other side. Let me flip that around for you. We've got some crust on this side. Nice little detail for the crust of the pizza. Looks pretty good. So, very pleased with all the accessories. Okay, and we're back with Leo, and he's got all of his accessories in his hands. We've got the 2 gripping hands, his one gripping hand holding the piece of pizza, the other gripping hand holding his katana. We got his other katana in his sheath in his back, and we've got his other bandana, which is swept to the right side. You can flip it over onto the other side, whichever serves your purpose. But he does come with 2 of those, so it does give you the option to have it swept on the left or the right. Final verdict for Leo. I'm going to give him a 2 thumbs up. Like I said, I gave you the causes of concern with the articulation, and I did point out a couple little nitpicks that I had, but those were really nitpicks. It's not a major thing. If the figure broke on me, then I would say I would give it a 2 thumbs down. But nothing broke. I don't have any issues. The sculpt, the paint is fantastic. This is the definitive movie Leonardo action figure in 6-inch form that you're going to want to get your hands on. I would love to get an Ultimates version of each individual character, maybe with extra heads, with different facial expressions. I would just love that down the line if And if they could ever get that worked out, that would be fantastic. But even if we just get these, I'm pretty happy with them. But yeah, definitely for Leonardo, this is a fantastic figure. I'm so happy to have him. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Stay tuned for my Donatello review. He's going to be coming up tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the flip side.